Hello, welcome to Band T-Shirts with Leah. I'm Leah, and again, I'm not in a band T-shirt. This is a weekly podcast that I usually record in Adelaide, because that's where I'm from, and we talk about a T-shirt from my band T-shirt collection. Well, at the moment, it's not just mine, because we've had a guest so far, which is pretty exciting. If you'd like to be a guest, you should hit me up and let me know. So normally, like I said, I record in Adelaide, which is Ghana land. However, at the moment, I'm in Denver. So I'm reading this bit because I don't know it. The greater city of Denver resides within the traditional territories of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute people. Now, they also have other names linked to those, but I definitely don't know how to say those. I don't even think I said Arapaho correctly, but I'm going to write them on the screen, here or here, and then you'll be able to see. And that's why I'm a little bit late posting the podcast as well, because I am traveling and, I'm a little bit tired, a little bit sick as well, actually. But I think I'm okay because, look, to be honest, I'm always late. I'm trying to be better at it, but I'm not. I'm always a bit late. But technically, it's still Sunday in Denver, Mountain Time. So I've got a little bit of time up my sleeve, but not much. And probably by the time this actually loads onto YouTube, I will have gone past Sunday anyway. Also, today I've had a pretty big day at the hockey. And then I just spent a long time staring out the window because it snowed this afternoon. So that's what I did. Just stared out the window, looking at it, thinking, I've probably got some things I could do, but why would I? How often do I get to see snow at home? Never. I never get to see snow at home. Anyway, let's get on with what we're here for, which is a band T-shirt. Now, I did a very clever thing, and instead of bringing just a random assortment of T-shirts, I bought band T-shirts to wear while I'm on holiday, so I can keep on recording these podcasts. Look, I had planned to do one or two spares at home before I left, but that did not work out. So this is my backup plan, which is actually a pretty good plan. So we're doing Tool this week. I know, how exciting. I love Tool. And this is our T-shirt, which is, guess what, everyone? It's black. So this is it. The front of it has the fairly, if you're familiar with Tool, you will have seen our version of this type of font before, so you are hopefully familiar with that. It does have some pattern within it. This one has eyes, which, oh yeah, there you go, that's working. And it says Tool, and then on the sleeve it says Tool, Los Angeles, California. And I don't think there's anything on the other side. There is not, but there is something on the back, which is this print, which is like a skeleton, and then it's on like a platform of eyes, or a stage of eyes. It's pretty impressive. Like, if you know Tool, that they have a very particular type of artwork that sits across a lot of their stuff, and it's very good. So anyway, there's that, and then along the bottom it says Auckland, Gold Coast, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, 2011. So that's because this was from the 2011 Big Day Out. So there you go. I'll give you, I don't know why I keep showing you the front. You'll be able to see that again when I'm wearing it, but unless I record my back, you won't see the back again. So I really should show that side more. In my defense, I'm still learning about visual podcasts. All right, so there we go. Now I'll put the T-shirt on and we'll talk again. Anyway, I said you'd be able to see the front when I put it on, but you can't because I'm sitting a little bit too low, and I can't, because of where I am, I don't really have a table or a desk that sits at like a good height for recording or whatever. It's either going to be like, I'm either going to be sitting too high or the table's going to be too low, or a combination of the two. So maybe you'll see it in little bits and pieces. It is a cool T-shirt. I wore this on my way to Melbourne when I was like getting the plane to San Francisco, and the guy did say to me then, hey, sick shirt. And I was like, it is a sick shirt. I reckon out of the last 4 times I've worn this t-shirt, 2 times I got a compliment. And I accept the compliment as if I have something to do with it. But I did not. I did not make this t-shirt. I did not have anything to do with this excellent design. I just paid for it. So, like I said, this was from the 2011 Big Day Out. So I'm going to say this t-shirt was probably between $35 to $45. I reckon that was about the average price of t-shirts back then. So, you know, anyway, it's done me good because it still looks very good and I still really like it. So, I have seen Tool 4 times, in 2002, 2007, 2011 and 2020. Now, we're not going to talk about Fear Inoculum today because I have another t-shirt from when I saw them in 2020. So we'll talk about like that album and that show in a future episode. Not that I didn't bring that t-shirt with me. So we'll just talk about, I guess, the earlier shows that I saw them. So, also because of the time when this happened, I didn't have a lot of photos. So, you know, what can I say? I know if there's no photos, did it really happen? It really happened, I promise. If you could like scoop out a bit of my memory brain like they do in Harry Potter, you would see it was there. That would be good too, because the bits that I can't easily call to mind, it would be good if I could just scoop them out and rewatch it. Imagine that. Imagine rewatching concerts just again and again. Just put them out, just pull out a little song. Oh, amazing. It would be so good. I mean, think about, oh my God, go to sleep dreaming about that now, I reckon. Which shows I'd pull out first. Oh my God, imagine the lineup you could make though. You could make your own most amazing festival lineup. I'd just like, and then I'll do this set, and then I'll do this set, and then this set. Anyway, just sorry. I'm a bit tired, I think, and a bit excitable, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so in 2001, Tool toured Lateralis in Australia for the first time. Now, they only came to Sydney and Melbourne, and I couldn't go, and I sulked. But I remember somebody at the time telling me, oh, you know, they'll probably come back and do a bigger tour, so you'll get to see them the next time they come back. I was like, oh, I don't know, I hope so. Anyway, he was correct, because they did. They came back in 2002 in May. So on that date, they did, what did they do? They did 8 dates, which included Adelaide. And so they played at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre in the main part of the main part of the entertainment centre. If you're familiar with the venue now, you'll know it has like the theaterette bit, which is on the side, which allows for smaller or more intimate shows. But this was when it didn't have that. Oh, they wouldn't have needed it. They definitely needed the big area. And so you had all GA on the floor, and then of course the seating, where the seating always is. But yeah, no seating. So I went on my own to this gig, and I went at the last minute, and I was trying to find someone to go with, and I got a bit of, nah, I'm not paying for that. That's too much. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I went at the very last minute and bought my ticket at the box office, like not long before the show started. Now, I reckon that the demographic of Tool has probably changed a little bit over time. I'm not saying that they never had female fans. Of course they did, but I think they probably have more now than they did then. Look, this is just purely anecdotal, but I remember when it got to that show, I don't remember heaps, but I remember when I got to that show, I had to you know, we had to line up obviously to get in, get our tickets checked and everything. I don't even reckon they got scanned. I reckon they pulled a bit of the ticket off, I reckon. The good old days, right? When you sold a ticket by physically putting it in someone's hand. Anyway, so I was in line, well, about to get in line, but I got pulled to the front of the line because we were getting, I was thinking about this. They got wanded, you know how they do the security wand, you know, the little metal detector. But I don't think it was a wand, because otherwise I could have just stayed in the general line. It must have been a pat down. We must have got patted down by security when we went in. Hey, I mean, whatever. But so I got to go to the front of the line because obviously as a female, I had to be patted down by a female security person. They weren't going to make a man do it, or weren't going to subject me to a man doing it. It's probably a more accurate description of that. So yeah, I got to go like straight in front of the whole line, because there was no line at all for the female security guard. And when I was inside, there was a huge line at the male toilets and no line at all at the female toilets. I have never been anywhere where there's no line at the female toilets. Like, never. And there'd be a big one at the men's. I can't even think of a time where that would have happened, apart from this. You know, there's usually, I don't know, it just wasn't super balanced. But like I said, I think it has changed a bit over, look, that was 23 years ago. Oh my gosh, gross. So, I mean, obviously things have changed a little bit. Now, as we've just remembered by using maths and time, that was 23 years ago, so I don't really remember a lot of the set. Obviously it would have been really heavy in Lateralis because that was the album that they were touring. What I do remember though is that it was visually spectacular. I mean, let me be very clear here, it's also musically spectacular. Yeah, it was really visually spectacular because of the artwork. That's such an intrinsic part of Tool as, I guess, as a creative package. It's not just the music, it's everything all together. And there was like, I just remember it being so big and the screens being so big and all of that different artwork from Lateralis and also earlier albums though coming up on the screens and moving around. And you know, like, it was visually spectacular, yes. But I mean, of course, also audibly spectacular. They are a very tight unit. Yes, so very visually spectacular. Also audibly spectacular. I do remember that. I do remember feeling like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then actually 1 or 2 days later, I went to see a different artist, and I was less impressed with his set. And I think if I had have seen him in isolation, I would have still enjoyed. I mean, I didn't not enjoy it, but I was a bit like, this is all right. But I think if I had have seen it in isolation, I would have enjoyed it more. But the contrast between the sound of Tool, you know, and the level of what they're producing, like the complexity of their sound, mate, I was like, this is okay, I guess, but they got nothing on Tool. Anyway, and I'm one of those sort of snobs. It was probably towards the end of the set where I was thinking something a little bit different here. Like, you know, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew that there was something different, but I didn't know what. And it was probably when like only 1 or 2 songs to go that Maynard talked, right? And I was like, oh my God, that's what it is. He hasn't said anything this whole set. Like, it's just, and you know, you're used to, especially the front man talking, you're used to them engaging with the crowd, you know, sometimes introducing the other band members, saying those things like, oh my God, insert city, this is the biggest show than we played it at insert like rival city, like, you know, that type of, you guys rock harder than the guys down the street, like rock, well, live music 101, not even rock 101, just live music 101. No, there's nothing. Also, I noticed this earlier, not just towards the end, but Maynard doesn't play at the front. Like, he still does this. Well, he did every time I've seen him. He plays at the back. So he's not. They have bass, guitar, drums, and then him here. That's here in the background, which again, for a front man, is very unusual behaviour. But look, it works for him. And so if it works for him, it works for me. Just as an aside, this apartment is kind of noisy. Like, the fridge is very noisy. Then the heating will come in randomly, and then also sometimes noise from the bathroom. It's weird. It's weird getting used to the sounds of a new building, I guess. Anyway, so 2007 and 2011 were both Big Day Out sets, and I tried to find photos from 2007, and I don't know if I have any. I mean, I would have some. I take photos of everything. I'm walking down the street and I see a crack in the ground, I take a photo. So I would have photos of it. I just don't know where they are. Probably on an old hard drive. And I don't have any that I don't have ready access to ones from 2011. I have 2 photos that I have managed to get from my friend who I went to the big day out with. I mean, we've been to heaps of things together. Her name is Jade. You'll see her in a picture. You know what? I'll put the picture in now. So this is from 2011. Yes, it was a warm day, because when wasn't it a warm day? Yeah, so I can't remember a lot from 2007 either in terms of like the set list or whatever, but it would have been a great festival set, because they understand how to do a festival set, because you need a variety of songs. You need to do some of your old ones, some of your new ones, and your popular ones. You have to, that's the rules of a festival set. They're not written, but they should be known. Although sometimes when you go to see someone and you think, oh, you missed the mark here. This was your opportunity to reach out to a broader audience, and you wasted that a little bit because you've played some niche or whatever, and you haven't played the song or songs that people are more familiar with. And then sometimes when they hear those, they're like, oh, I know who this is. Then they get a little bit more into it. But anyway, that's not all. They know exactly what they're doing. So in 2007, they were headlining with Muse. And in 2011, it was with Rammstein. Now, Rammstein, and I'm talking about these as one single event, right? Because I can't clearly distinguish between the two of them. But I remember the Rammstein set. I saw them 2 times at the big day out, and they are theatrical. I don't think there's really any other way to describe them. They put on a show that is not safe for children. Also, I don't want children at a big day out, to be honest. But it is intense and it is theatrical, and it involves role playing and gimps and whatnot, and it's pretty full on. Plus, they're singing in full on rapid fire German. You have no idea what they're saying, but there's an aggressiveness to it, because German is I would say a more, I don't want to say aggressive language, but it's a more assertive in its tone. It's not like when you're listening to those the romantic languages like Italian or French, that come from that Latin base, that have got that kind of rollingness to them. Anyway, I like it. I like the sound of German. Yeah, I don't mean romantic as in oh, it's romantic. I mean, it's a romantic bass. That's what it's called. Anyway, when you watch Rammstein, you're watching this is a show. They are putting on an absolute show, and it ends with this massive dick cannon that just sprays white confetti out into the ground, just well, I mean, I probably didn't need to put in a sound effect, but anyway, there's this confetti that goes everywhere, and it's it's full on, and there's all earlier in the set they have flames coming up. Actually, my friend Jade has a photo from that, so I have a photo of Rammstein that I can put in here too. But that is it's intense. It's the flames, and then the theatre aspects of it, and then of course the dick cannon, which is a very dramatic ending. Yeah, so that's good. It's funny anyway. Then in between Rammstein and Tool, there was this big flute horn thing that went for, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 minutes. It was I don't know, it was, the point of it, it was an art installation, and fill in the blanks, right? It sounded like a contemporary art installation, but the point of it was crowd control. So, and when that Rammstein set finishes, you're here. If you go straight into Tool, right, you're going to go like this, and just like you built your energy level through Rammstein, you're going to keep building it through Tool. and then you're going to be like crazy. So the point of this horn thing in the middle was to bring us down a bit, so that when Tool started and we gradually rebuilt, well, not gradually, pretty rapidly rebuilt our energy level, we still stayed at a level that wasn't like crazy. Anyway, that's the thought behind it. And you know what, it probably worked, because we were sitting there thinking, what the fuck is this all about? Anyway, I learned that afterwards from someone who did event management. He told us that's what that was about. So Ramstein was second last, well, I guess third last if we count the horn thing, and then Tool closed the show on that stage. So the Big Day Out used to be set up, if you never went to one, was set up so you had two big stages side by side. I know I've talked about these in other podcasts, but some people might be watching for the first time. And they would like an orange and a blue stage, and then while this band was playing, they would set up this stage ready to go. And then usually there would be like two big screens on the outside and sometimes in the middle, but not always. And then in later years, that kind of D barrier, which gave you, I guess, the space immediately in front of the stage. And then the D, which gave didn't allow the whole crowd to surge forward at once, and then everybody else behind that. So Rammstein played on the left side, and then Tool played on the right side. And you know, look, when they started, of course we all got excited and hyped again as well. All forgot about the dumb horn. I was like, cool story, bro, but this is what we're here for, right? So anyway, they definitely played Schism, and they played Anima. Now, I'm looking, I had to make a note of that because I had to actually look up how you pronounce it, because I did not know how to. You know when you just read a thing and so you don't know how to say a thing? Yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, so I just had to watch a clip about it, and listening to the clip I thought, well, that sounds like Richard Kingsmill. Anyway, it was. And it was an excerpt from an interview that he did with Adam, where he explained, first of all, how to say Anima, and then what it meant. So I think Kingsmill thought it was more like enema, and I thought it was more like enema. Like I just thought the A bit was not really a thing. I just thought you just used it anyway. I had no idea how to say it. The point of that story is that all this time I really liked that song and really enjoyed it, but I had no idea what it was called, and I always thought, God, please nobody ask me how to say that word, because I have no idea. Anyway, so they played that. Anyway, you might be able to tell from my slight gushing. I just love Tool. I just think that there's such a depth and complexity to their music, their lyrics, the art that accompanies it, the way that they perform. It's not about pandering to a crowd. I don't mean that. I'm not saying that people who engage with the crowd are pandering to them. I mean that they're performing in a particular way that's expected of them, whereas Tool perform in a way that they want. That's all they do. They're like, hey, this is us, and enjoy it or not. And like, man, I'm absolutely going to enjoy it. Don't worry about that. The thing about Tool fans is that some of them are very great and cool and awesome, like me, of course. But then there's a lot of them that anytime Tool posts anything on any of their social media accounts, all they do is start screaming about when is there going to be a new album, when is there going to be a new album. And I get it, right? Like, I want one too, but sometimes you just got to wait. This isn't a process that we're in charge of. We're a part of it in that we are I don't like to say consumer in this context, but we are a consumer, a user. We just have to wait. We're not making it, right? And so you've got to wait. But they do, man. They complain that the albums take too long to make, but they're not just out there smashing out garbage. Like, if you want to listen to an artist that just smashes out an album every year full of the same crap, there's thousands of artists out there you can listen to that do that. Go and listen to them. But anyway, I don't know. But it's not garbage. It's really textured and really long, not commercially friendly, not radio friendly, 11, 12, 15 minute songs. You remember that meme doing the rounds in like 2020 where we had to where they were teaching us how to wash our hands because apparently everybody on the planet is gross and doesn't know how to, but where you want to wash your hands, but like you have to wash your hands for the length of a song, but you listen to Tool. Anyway, it always makes me laugh because Tool songs are so good. I always used to joke about that when I go on a road trip. Like, oh no, I'm just going to listen to Tool albums on the way there. So I would listen to 2 albums on the 8-hour drive. But anyway, hey, look, that's what you get. When people aren't just putting out radio garbage, right? They're putting out a song that they think goes for 8 minutes. It goes for 8 minutes. What are you going to do? Listen for 8 minutes, obviously, duh. Anyway, also, Danny Carey is like my most favourite drummer. He's incredible. He's incredible live. And we should probably talk about this in the other Tool episode that I'll do at some point down the line. I mean, I keep saying we're going to be doing more episodes, so if you like these, then you tell me, and so I'll keep making them. Otherwise, I guess I won't. But if you like it, please like and share, subscribe if you haven't already. And anyway, if we do get to this future episode, but I just want to talk about it before I forgot. There's this excellent clip that Vic Firth have put out of Danny playing Numa, and it's so good because it gives you a couple of different angles, like one right in front of him, one from the side, and you see his kit, and you just see the way that he's playing. It's incredible. I mean, I couldn't say a bird's eye view, but it's a couple of different birds because you get a couple of different views. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, 11, 12 minutes. You won't regret it. You absolutely will not. It's not 11 or 12 minutes wasted. Anyway, I just thought I'd share it before I forgot about it, even though we'll talk about Numa as part of the future Tool episode. They're so great. I remember that I went to like a symphony, like an orchestra version of their songs with my friend Jade, again, the same Jade. And it was the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra. They were playing in their venue in the city, and it was because the conductor, he really liked metal too. Obviously, he's classically trained and likes classical music, but he really liked metal, and so he loved as well the complexities of Tool music. So he did, he set up a show where they played Tool music, and I remember distinctly 46 and 2. I remember that, it was so good. Also, they did an encore which was just violins playing Purple Haze, which was amazing, so good. Anyway, but that's because it's music that you could listen to it in a musical or an instrumental version, and that's great. It's really great. You love it. I know I love it. Favourite songs. I know it's supposed to be favourite song, but I've already broken that rule, so I'll just keep breaking it whenever I feel like it's appropriate to break it. So one is The Pot. I just think it's so classic, and it's one of their more accessible songs. That's not how I would describe it, but I've seen it written up online where people are talking about how it's kind of like a gateway to Tool. Like it's sort of a Tool, like it's a Tool song for Tool fans, but it's also a song for non-Tool fans so that they can get a sense of who they are, the range, the depth, the sound, and then decide whether they like it or not. So yeah, it's like a gateway. Gateway. If you got some friends and you're like, hey, would you like to try some Tool? Try the Pop. Apparently that's what works. The other one is Anima. Now I feel like I'm just going to want to say that all the time. Anima. I just think the lyrics are so good. And I've been thinking about this too, that, and some say the end is near, and some say we'll see Armageddon soon. And I'm like, I think we might see Armageddon soon, like, to be honest. I mean, I hope not, obviously, but I mean, I don't know. I'm getting a real end of days vibe, to be honest. It's one of the reasons I took this holiday. It's like, well, get it in before the end. But on that grim note, no, I don't really think that. Well, it might be, I don't know. Anyway, let's just move right along. So this time, actually, it's not a band I wish I'd seen, because there's still a potential to see this band. I was thinking about a band, because what I've been trying to do, as you might have noticed in those other episodes, is to try to link the band I like to see in some way to the band that we've talked about already that day. And I couldn't find anyone that really kind of I would link to Tool in that way. Maybe Carnival. I've seen Carnival heaps of times. Still see them again, of course, but probably the only ones where I'd feel like they're connected in some type of way. Anyway, I couldn't think of one, so I just went completely different, and I've gone with Deep Purple. I know, right? That's probably weren't expecting that, but my mum was just telling me, like maybe last week or something, that they are playing at a festival in Australia at the end of April, and look, she has always loved them, so she was hoping that she could go, but because of where the festival is, she can't get accommodation there at the moment. But you know, I mean, if they're still touring, they could always tour again, you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, but like I said, she's always loved them, and she loved Ian Gillan, especially when she was younger. So we also got to hear a lot of his version of Jesus Christ Superstar, because why not, right? Why not? Also, that is such a good musical, like it's so good. I think like every version of it has been good. And then of course, you know, as an aspiring guitarist, I did learn the intro to Smoke on the Water, because you have to. It's like a rule. If you don't, you're not really serious about becoming a guitarist anyway. So Deep Purple, maybe one day. You never know, right? I mean, if they're still touring, there's still a chance. So thank you for joining me today on Band T-Shirts with Leah. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I say it won't happen again, but I am unreliable. All right, this is a Band T-shirt. This is Leah, and this is goodbye. See ya.